Alright, so got back from doing a little work over in Charlotte. About to get back to the daily grind, and I want to go over some things that I found out with using the Hero 7 pretty much all weekend. So let's take a little drive to the shop, and we'll go over some more things over there. Alright, so quick pit stop. I forgot that I needed to test out this Helio FU mode. So I have a couple quick packs to burn. I have like 2 batteries left over from the trip. And yeah, I just flashed this quad with the FU mode. I was having a little bit of like little micro vibrations and stuff when we were up in Charlotte. So I just want to see if flashing it to FU mode takes care of everything that I was experiencing. So yeah, let's just get in like a battery or 2 and just rip so we could go back to the shop and check out the footage. Also, this is going to be with no stabilization on the Hero 7. So going to be proving a little bit of a point here in a minute. Alright, so moving my settings back out of everything, I'm going to be going 2.7K into super view, and like I said, I'm not going to be running stabilization. Got my shutter set to 1/120. I do have the ND filter on here. Yeah, that's about it for what I'm running. I have Pro Tune on. My sharpness is on low. GoPro color, I had it on raw, and we should be ready to go. Smells like death over here, and I don't like it, so I don't want to be here for too long. Definitely smell something either fishy or rotting or both, but I could definitely smell it. It's probably coming from the shelter over here where they axe the poochies, the poor little poochies. So we are going to be set up in a position where if somebody comes up that I don't like, I could just bounce. So that means everything packed up on the bag.
A few moments later.
That wasn't too bad. So nice thing about this is I can just pick up and go. Set myself up for a quick little mission.
Telemetry lost.
Alright. So we'll get into the details about this whole GoPro thing here in a second. Let's go back over to the shop and go over all this stuff. Alright, so over the past weekend while doing a production shoot in Charlotte with Steel, we were using Hypersmooth on the GoPro Hero 7. We had everything set up thinking that Hypersmooth would definitely help with getting the images and everything we wanted for the production team, and they didn't exactly want smooth shots. They just wanted us to fly how we would fly on like basically like our everyday of going out and flying mini quads. And when we did that, we found that running Hypersmooth on the GoPro actually made the footage worse. It didn't help whatsoever. It was really jittery. Let me show you an example of what that looked like. So that's a prime example of like what it looked like. Obviously I can't show too much video from there, but it just didn't work. And the conclusion that we kind of thought between us was that if you're have a subject that they're chasing or something with Hypersmooth, it could lock onto that subject and it doesn't get messed up with whatever software imaging that it does to get the stabilized footage. So when you see like a mountain biker and he's mounted up and the handlebars are in front of him, it has something to lock on. And when you're flying something that is primarily already flying really smooth like a mini quad, it just has trouble trying to figure out what to smoothen out in the image. So anything that has kind of like a harsher, like if we flew really aggressive, like quick turns left to right, something like that, or if it's on a bike bouncing up and down, the Hypersmooth would work good. I think this has to do with some of the smaller setups that you see people running with Hypersmooth and just kind of catching like long flowy shots. That's okay, like it'll do okay with that as well. But as soon as you got into like slow acro or any type of freestyle flying, it would just have a moment where it's almost like it just didn't know what to do. And yeah, we came across that a few times, so we just decided no stabilization for the rest of the whole shoot, and everything turned out way better. There's little, vibrations or something. It was a little bit windy, pretty cold. The props were pretty cold. But yeah, we found that not having any stabilization at all worked pretty well. And I'll show you a quick little clip as well of today's flight when I was just going out there testing the new Helio like FU stuff, which is, I mean, amazing. For flying 6-inch mini quads, 5-inch, tried it on 5.5. Everything just seems like very locked in, very minimal tuning to get a good flying quad, which is like what we're all looking to get to. So here's a couple quick clips of what I was shooting earlier, and this is just no stabilization or anything. So you can see that, basically having stabilization on during your regular freestyle flights, it's going to destroy your footage. It's not going to be usable footage. I can see some people using it if they have a lot of cuts in their edits that they like to make for their freestyle edits. But for me, usually I like to just do like one pack somewhere when I'm out flying. I'll just take that pack and make an edit from that. So it's usually just one straight battery that I'm running, and if this thing messes up in between, then I pretty much have like a lost shot that I want to put into my videos. So yeah, from here on out, unless there's an update, I won't be running the stabilization for most of my flights. I'd probably run it through like real steady or something if I want to get something a little bit more stable and smooth. I don't think it's going to make any pilots out there look better. I've heard that a few times. So overall, I think the GoPro 7, I love it, mainly because the image quality. I was looking at the ones we still got, like still out of session, and I would look at the image quality from the Hero 7. It's amazingly better. There's a lot more features in here that I could go through and change up, and aspect ratios, and it just has a lot more features to be able to capture a bunch of different shots. So that aspect is good, but as for the stabilization, if I'm going handheld, or if I'm doing anything else, like primarily, this whole edit is also shot on the Hero 7. I wanted to make it a point to be like, you know, what it's good for and what it's not good for. And that's like doing vlogging stuff like this, like using it as a gimbal or having it on a chest mount at action sports where there's something in the foreground that it could lock into. But to use it on a mini quad is just not going to work how we think it's going to work. It's basically going to have some troubles and going to destroy your footage. So yeah, that is my reason why I don't think the Hero 7 is a good camera for freestyle footage. Everything else, I think it's amazing, and definitely this is my favorite GoPro by far. So hope you guys all have a good Turkey Day tomorrow for those of you that are here in the States, and I'll see you next time. I'm done working, so hopefully I could get on this schedule I've been talking about. Peace.